So in today's agenda, Suzanne, next slide. Oh, here we go. We're going to be going over possible funding sources, steps to funding, credit, accessibility loan programs, do's and don'ts, community support, and we're going to go over questions at the end. Okay, first slide. Let me tell you something about ourselves. We're Accessity. We're a nonprofit micro lending organization. We've been in Southern California since 1994. Our mission is to create economic opportunity and financial stability for underserved people and communities by providing access to capital, education, resources, and to build a healthy small businesses. Since 1994, we have disbursed over $64 million in loans, and since June of 2020, we disbursed $11 million in COVID relief loans. Oh my God, it was a busy year, okay? We are funded by government agencies, banks, foundations, former clients, and individuals who support our mission. We service areas located in San Diego, Imperial Valley, Riverside, Orange County, San Bernardino, and LA County. Next slide, please. So, let's get started right here. Possible funding sources. So how do small businesses fund their businesses? So a lot of people start with their savings, their own savings, which is good, but you need a plan of attack there too. Also, you don't want to use all your money at the same time. Some people get their sources from family and friends. That's another good source. You can also try crowdsource or crowdfunding. Just go to those two websites and see how maybe you can get funding through them also. We also have angel or private investors, same thing as almost like families or people out there. You put your information out there. I don't know if you guys see that website, GoFundMe.com. You can also go in there and see if you can get money there. Or you can get into debt financing and you can go through banks. I always tell all my clients to speak to the bankers before they come to see us, see what the sources they have available for them, see if they can be able to get a bank to them first. And then there's the alternative lenders like ourselves, Accessity and SDC and Small Business Finance, which you can get SBA loans. Okay. And there's also grants, which Brianna is going to be talking at the end of this presentation. Okay. Steps to funding your business. Okay, the first thing is writing a business plan and do your homework. If you don't have a plan of attack, hardly anything really kind of works the way you wanted it to work. Like right now for my daughter, and we had a plan for her attack. I know I'm going to use a metaphor for my swimmer. She's 15 years old. She was in swim team, and her goal was to make it to the CIFs this year. Unfortunately, she didn't make it. She was close, but not close. So we had to deviate her plan, her swim plan, and saying what she's going to do, what she's going to change, maybe so next year she can make it to CIF plan, because her ultimate goal is to make it to the state finals in her senior year. So basically, like herself, she's researched. And what you guys going to do? You're going to research your industries, the trends in the industry. If you're going to be open your business in. Research the competition. Make sure you know what your competition is doing. Sometimes you can maybe take some hints, ideas from there, or learn from their mistakes. Okay. Another thing you need to do is identify required licenses and permits. So go to the website calgold.com and check them out. See what they have available for you. Okay. Next is develop a financial plan and projections. Like with my daughter with her swim team, she's creating a timeline, how she wants to improve her times until next year. So develop financial plans and projections, see where you want to go, how much money you're going to be making from this business you're opening or you already have. And develop a marketing plan. There's nothing worse of doing all this work and not sending the invitations out there for a party. If you hire a caterer, you hire the creator, you buy the decorations and everything, you get ready for this party, and if you don't send the invitations, no one's going to come. So all your hard work was thrown away. So make sure you always have a marketing plan on board. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so here's some steps in funding your business. Oh, hold on. Sorry. So this is the first thing. When I'm speaking to clients, I'm always asking, how much money do you need to borrow? Okay. And sometimes I get this from my clients. Oh, I'm not so sure how much money do I qualify you? Well, if you had a business plan, you would know how much money you need. How are you going to use the funds for? So are you going to be hiring an employee? Are you going to buy a piece of equipment? How are you going to use the funds? So you need to know how much money you need. You need to calculate your ideal amount plus your minimum amount, because we don't want to overfund you or underfund you. We want to make sure that we get the right amount for your company, okay? So know how much you need to borrow. So when you speak to a lender, just be very clear and precise. Let him know how much money you need and the purpose of your loan, how the funds are going to be utilized. That would give your lender, oh my God, this person is on top of it. This is giving me good feelings about this person. This person is organized. This person knows the direction they want the company to go to. So make sure when you speak to a lender, tell them what the purpose of the loan and how much it's going to cost you to get there. Okay, next slide, please. And know your strengths. And here's one thing that all lenders look at. We'll take a look at the 5 C's of capital, okay? And the first C we take a look is what? Your character and your credit. Who you are, how prepared you are, and also knowing how worthy you are. And we find that to your credit score, okay? So we find out all that information to your character and your credit. We want to make sure you're ready for this loan, okay? The other thing is we also take a look at the second thing we take a look at is your capacity. How are you going to repay this loan back? What sources of income do you have? With us here in Accessity, we're also taking a look at if you're kind of weak in your capacity, you also, if you have a co-borrower, we'll take that into consideration, okay? The third thing we're looking at is collateral. If your cash flow is tight or your credit is weak, how is the lender going to protect this investment? So here at Accessity, we take a payoff vehicle as collateral. Some banks will take your home, or sometimes we'll take equipment also from your business, okay? So if your cash flow is tight, we'll take a look at collateral. Then the fourth thing we'll take a look is a capital. And this is the key question everybody's going to ask you. How much money have you already invested in your company, or how much money you plan to invest in your company? So capital is a key component. We want to see you have skin in the game. If you don't, if you don't trust in yourself, how do you expect a financial institution to trust you also? And the last thing is condition. We're going to take a look at what's the economy trends in your industry, the purpose of your loan. So we're going to take conditions, but like conditions, well, nobody was ready for the pandemic. So conditions is something a little iffy sometimes, so we have to take a look, and it's the last thing we do. Okay, next slide, please. And here's the most important thing. Before you apply for the loan, know what's in your credit report, okay? So the best thing you can go to the annualcreditreport.com, okay? Take a look at your credit report, fix any negative items you have in your credit report, make payments, arrangement before you're seeking financing. This is a key component. This is something crucial that we all need to do. And anybody that needs to go out there, they need to know what's on your credit report, okay? And here's a list of documents we do need for you to have ready before you apply. So before you go to apply for a loan, make sure you have your bank statements ready, your tax returns, financial statements, contracts, pay stubs, your ID, proof of business ownership, business plan or projections or financial statements for the past 1 to 3 years. If you're going to use cards collateral, make sure you have the title and updated, proof of settlement of paid delinquent accounts. If something's wrong with your credit report, take a look at that. Because I remember the first time we were buying a house, I pulled my credit and I noticed I had a collection cited in my credit report. It was from a medical collections for the dentist. So I took care of that before I went to the lender, and that really helped me with my loan. Next slide, please. And here's who we help, okay? We help startup businesses and existing business. And we help start this business from the day one, pre-revenue. And also they need to have a business plan and 1 year projections. And the key also component for startups, they need to have another source of income or a co-borrower. Because we're going to give you a business that's going to help you. We don't want to give you you know, we don't want to give you something that's going to hinder you. I was speaking to a trucker yesterday, and he was telling me his cousin just purchased a truck, but unfortunately, he has to work 24/7 to make the payments each month because he didn't have money aside to he as a cushion for him, but he was stuck working every day. So that's why we always make sure that our borrowers have a co-borrower or they have a source of income. For existing businesses, we take a look. If you don't have sufficient time in the business, we'll lend to you. If you have insufficient, your credit is not that great, we'll lend to you. We also lend to high industry, people with low credit scores and past challenges, but they have to be current in all accounts at the moment for at least 6 months. Okay, and now we're gonna go over our rapid loans. And here's what we offer here at Accessity. We offer our rapid loans. They go from $300 to $8,000. The interest rate is from 6.99 to 14.99. Our rapid loans are approved in 3 days. The term of the loans between 6 to 36 months. There's low documentation. There's just a short interview with the underwriter. The fees are $95 for closing fees for any loan less than $5,000, and for anything above $5,000, 6% of the amount of the loan. We also give a 1% discount to military and veterans and $100 off closing costs. And for our regular loans, which they go from $8,000 to $100,000, the interest rate is the same as our rapid loan, from 6.99 to 14.99 based on strength. There's no prepayment penalties. They're fully amortized. There's simple interest. There's no collateral. There's no application fee. And also we give 1% off for veterans and active duty personnel. The term of the loans is between 12 to 17 months. Closing fees are 6% of the amount of the loan that gets approved. And we also, like I said before, we give $100 of closing cost fees for veterans and active duty personnel. Right now, we're still offering we're also part of the California Relief Fund organization, and we're offering loans from $2,000 to $15,000 for people that are affected by the pandemic. And these are for our businesses that were open prior to 2019. And they had a maximum revenue of $250,000, but your business had to be profitable. But there's, the minimum score is $500. They need to demonstrate a 10% reduction in 2020. And they may have received other relief funding, which is okay, and must show ability to make payments at the moment. The interest rate is fabulous. It's only for 4.25. The first 12 months is interest payments only. The term of the loan is between 36 to 60 months. There's no prepayment penalties. The turnaround time is between 3 days, sometimes a little longer. All depends how it takes our clients to get the documents to us. And the closing fees are $250 for any loans from $5,000 to $5,500 and above. Okay. Unfortunately, we do not offer this loan to the Orange County and LA County area. There's other lenders that have available those to them. And if you have anybody from those areas right here, right now, you can just give me a call and I can send you to go to the website right there, or I can direct you to another lender that can help you with that. Okay, here's some do's and don'ts when you start a business. Please, when you start a business, do register your business, do open a business bank account, do protect your credit, ask as many questions as you can, how your credit is going to be affected if you get a loan. Do get capital before you need it. It's much easier to get capital before you need it. That's the importance of your business plan, because that way you have a plan, you know when you're going to need the money. Do report business revenue and expenses accurately on your taxes, because if you're going to get a business loan in the future, you need to be accurate about it. That way the bank looks at it. And if you're profitable for 2 years, able to do a loan for you. And don't quit your job. This is a key thing. People always tell me, I want to start a business. I just want to concentrate on my business. But if you quit your job, how are you going to repay the loan back? Okay. Don't borrow for predatory lending. And what I mean by predatory lending, I mean loans that are over 30%. And I've seen some predatory lending which people have to make payments on the daily basis and the weekly basis, which don't borrow from predatory lenders, please. Don't start before speaking to the experts. So experts like the SBDC, the San Diego Women's Business Center, and SCORE, and ourselves, please speak, or your bankers, speak to us before you get a loan through them. Don't sign a lease before loan approval. Don't commingle your accounts. Make sure you have everything separated, your personal account from your business checking account. Don't start without a clear plan. This is very important that you do have a business plan. That is one of the requirements for our startups. Don't run out of money, because it's really to get money once you use your credit card. So don't use your credit cards, because it's really hard to borrow money if you already are overextended. All right, next slide. Okay, and here's some list of industries we don't serve. Okay, I'm not going to read them all. It goes all the way from adult entertainment to short-term vacation. And as you read them, it kind of makes sense, especially art galleries, cannabis, commercial brokers and lenders. We don't lend to those people. Okay, next slide, please. And here is our community support. Here at Accessity, like I mentioned the first time, our mission is also to provide resources for our clients. We work closely with the San Diego Women's Business Center, the SBDC, SCORE. They help us immensely with our clients. They help us with writing a business plan with our clients. They help us also with projections and profit and losses for our clients. So they're quite amazing. We also, for people who have credit challenges, we work closely also with Trust Plus, is financial coaching and debt management. We send people to there, and I've had a couple of people come back and have been able to get a loan through us after speaking to them. We also, throughout the year, like this presentation, we offer educational opportunities. We have 2 academies throughout the years. It's an 8-week course, which our clients and students learn from A to C about how to open a business. And we have educational webinars and events throughout the year. And please, I invite everybody to come visit our website, accessity.org. It's a great resource. It tells you some of the stories we've done with our past clients. It's also the place you can apply for the loan and some of the great resources we have available for you. And here is my team, myself, Joyce Parra. I work in the South Bay in East County, San Diego, all the way up to Rancho Bernardo. Julia Terramin, she serves the city of San Diego. Rosalinda, she works for, she serves the North County coastal areas. Larissa Urias, she is part of the Imperial County and Coachella Valley. Christine Sanchez, she's our BDO for the San Bernardino County. Mel Vaquero, she serves West Riverside County, San Diego, and North County Inland. And I'll be here. You have any questions?
Yeah, thank you so much, Joyce. There are some great questions in the chat. So the first one, it goes back to earlier in your presentation. I'm going to stop sharing right now also as well. And we'll send out this slide deck too, so that people can get the slides as well as the recording. And so the question, one of the questions in the chat is, what are some of the strategies of a small business owner would use to interview lenders, like you had mentioned previously, and what methods are best practices?
I would say just have a chat. Talk about your goals to your lenders. Tell them what you want to do. Tell them your 6 months plans, your year goals, and your 3-year goals. See which direction you want to head. So when you talk to your lender, tell them what your plans are, how you plan to build out, what piece of equipment you're going to buy, how many employees you want to hire. So that's the best practice, is tell me what your plans are before you apply for the loan. See how they can help you out.
And so if somebody's not connected with a lender like Accessity or another lender like a small business banker at a bank, where would be a good place for someone to start? Would they go to maybe their bank that they have their personal checking account with? Or do you recommend they start talking to Accessity? Or where's a good place for someone to start?
they can start talking to us immediately, but I also want my clients to go see their bankers, because I want to be able for them to see all the resources they have available to them. See if they qualify to a bank first. Maybe they get a line of credit, a business credit card, see what they can offer you before you come see, because I want to make sure they have all, they have all the information in front of them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Another question that is in relation to the list of industries that Accessity does not serve. Someone asked, would long-term rentals qualify, and would that be considered broker finance or financial? And maybe you could give a little bit of context around that list and why Accessity is not able to serve those industries.
Well, long-term property management, we're able to do it as long as, for example, we've had some clients ask for loans which they're renting out homes throughout San Diego and then put them in Airbnb. And those are the type of loans we don't do. But if you have a property management company, we're able to do a loan for you as long as you own the property.
Okay, yeah, that's what the person clarified, and then such as property management. And did you mention maybe like why Accessity is not able to serve those industries?
Because it's kind of volatile. We don't know what's going to happen. It's not such a secure thing for us. It's like, for example, car dealerships, because we're not able to see predict what's, how much money they're going to be able to earn through their to the projections. So it's kind of volatile that we're not able to lend to them, because they can lose their rental at any time.
Yeah. Thank you. And then one last question here before we go on to our next speaker. Is manufacturing considered product development?
No, it's not. Product development is, if you're, for example, we've done a lot of manufacturing companies. I did, at the beginning of the pandemic, I gave a loan out to this guy that was making facial masks. So we funded his manufacturing for the machinery and for the products he needed. We were able to do that. We're not talking product development in which you haven't developed the mask already. It's like, we'll give you a loan for manufacturing. We will do that. Yes.
Okay, great. And then this actually last question is for me. And someone said, what's the 8-week courses for learning about the starting of your own business? So what Joyce was referring to, that's our Accessity Academy. We do it twice a year, once in English and once in Spanish. We actually just wrapped up the English one here in the spring, but we have an interest list for next year. And also, if you sign up for that interest list, I periodically send other organizations in town that are doing these types of classes for startups. The SBDC is actually a great one that has a startup course that's 8 or 10 weeks. So I'll put the link in the chat, but that's accessityacademy.org. So if you want to check that out, please do, and you can sign up for the interest list. So that's the last question we have. Thank you so much, Joyce. And Joyce will stick around for the end if we have a little bit of time, or if you have any other questions, you can put them in the chat for her. I'm sure she'd be happy to look at that. But our next speaker, I'm very excited you to hear. Thank you, Joyce. From Mark Morales from City National Bank, and he's going to be talking a lot about what the bank's seeing, bank lending, and then the SBA programs, because I know we get a lot of questions about SBA programs, which Accessity does not lend to do SBA loans, but I'm sure Mark will tell you more. So welcome. Thank you so much, Mark.
Well, thank you, Suzanne. I'm happy to be here, and hopefully I can make this work again. Are you seeing my screen properly?
Yes, looks great.
Okay, perfect. So welcome, everybody. Good morning. My name is Mark Morales, and I am the Vice President of SBA Lending at City National Bank. I have over 20 years of experience in lending to small businesses, and I concentrate on diverse and women-owned businesses, as we find that it is more challenging for those businesses to understand the bank system. So what I'm going to talk to you about today is bank lending. So versus the community groups and grants, this is traditional bank financing utilizing the SBA or government guaranteed program. All right, so first and foremost, what is an SBA loan? And basically, an SBA loan is a loan that a commercial bank would not have done without the SBA guarantee. It allows us to be more flexible, to look at businesses that are younger, that have uneven cash flow, maybe are having rapid growth or expanding a product line, or maybe don't have a lot of collateral. So SBA allows us to fund loans that we would not have done without the guarantee. So what is it that, and part of this has been covered by Joyce, but I'm going to tell you from the bank perspective. What are the 3 questions that a bank needs you to answer? So you need to be prepared before you walk into the bank to answer these 3 questions. We're going to go through them one at a time. But first, how much money do you need? Number 2, what will you use the money for? And number 3, how can you pay the bank? How can you show that you can pay the money back to the bank? The first one, how much money do you need? The answer never should be to the bank, how much can I get? This is not a mortgage. We're not looking to see how much you can afford. What we're looking for is, do you know what your business needs to move on and to grow, or to do whatever it is that you're going to use the money for? And it should be broken up in a couple of different ways. One, money that is going to be paid back in full in less than a year, and money that it's going to take longer than a year to pay. What we're doing with this information is to determine whether you need a line of credit, whether you need a term loan, whether you need a mixture of both. Number 2, this is one of the ones that I always say, please understand that the bank wants you to know, either through your business plan or through your conversations with the bank, what you're going to use the money for. I don't want to hear, I need $500,000 for working capital. What I want to hear is, I need $500,000 and I need this much money for inventory, for production, for website design, for salaries, to hire people. Maybe I'm purchasing real estate or purchasing equipment. Maybe I'm going to finance a contract, or you're expanding or buying another location, or you're going to acquire another business. I need you to know what you're going to use the money for and be able to tell me. And the last, and the one that's most important to the bank, how can you demonstrate that you can make those payments to the bank, principal and interest, on time? Is it going to come from your historical revenue? Is it going to come from projected revenue? Is it coming from contracts or purchase orders, or a combination of those? We need you to tell us exactly how you're going to be able to pay us back. I'm going to talk about the 2 most popular programs with the SBA, the 7A loan program and the 504 program. 7A program, which is the flagship for SBA, it kind of encompasses a lot of different programs, sub-programs like the export working capital and international finance and SBA Express. But basically, it is it can be a line of credit with the SBA Express product, and it can be a term loan with the traditional 7A. And the money can be used for a number of different purposes: to purchase land or to do tenant improvements, to buy equipment, inventory, for financing of accounts receivable, short-term working capital needs, refinancing of existing business debt, specifically high-interest debt, and to purchase an existing business. The 504 program is a fixed asset program, and so it is primarily used for commercial real estate. City National Bank is the top in the top 2 lenders nationwide for doing 504 loans, and we primarily do it for the purchase and refinance of commercial real estate. It can also be used for heavy equipment or large equipment purchases. It cannot be used for working capital or inventory, or speculation or investment in rental real estate. This question comes up all the time. You cannot use an SBA loan to buy a building to rent it out. You can't use it to buy a multifamily building, and you can't use it for residential as well. So what are we looking for with the SBA financing? We're looking that you have been profitable over the last 3 years. Now, because of COVID and 2020 and partially 2021, we understand that the pandemic has affected the finances of many businesses. So what we have done, we are going to be able to look at your 2019 and your 2021 and your interim financials, to determine whether or not you're going to be able to demonstrate that you can pay the money back to the bank. We can, with the SBA program, use projected income versus just historical. So if you were just coming in for a bank loan, what we would look at is your last 3 years' tax returns to see whether or not you could pay us back. With the SBA, I can look at projected income over the next 2 years to determine whether or not there's going to be enough cash to be able to pay us back. Your personal credit can be, it can have dings, but we want you to have explanations. If you've had short pays, if you've had a foreclosure, if you've had a bankruptcy, we need you to be able to explain that to the bank. And collateral, which is a big thing for banks on a conventional basis, with the SBA, because we're getting a guarantee, sometimes, we can do loans that have no collateral. Talk about what you cannot use an SBA loan for. Cannot refinance debt that the bank was going to take a loss on. So that could be a loan that is in a special asset, group within the bank. Banks can't just tack on an SBA guarantee to loans that are going bad. Cannot use an SBA loan to purchase a portion of a business. You can only use it to purchase the entire business or to buy out a partner where you would have 100% of the business. That's why you can't use SBA loans, to purchase into a law partnership, because you're not buying the whole thing. You cannot use an SBA loan to pay back, the investment of the owner unless you're buying that owner out. We cannot use an SBA loan to finance or pay off state or federal tax debt. And then we also cannot use an SBA loan for a non-sound business purpose. What does that mean? Perfect example, you own a liquor store, but you want to buy a racehorse. That is not a sound business purpose for a liquor store. It would be for a horse trainer, so it needs to make sense. We've heard a lot about fraud and what has been going on with PPP and EIDL. You don't want to be using your SBA loan to buy a brand new Lamborghini. Which businesses are ineligible based on, the federal program and guidelines for the SBA? Nonprofits. Now, you may have heard that nonprofits did get PPP and EIDL loans. That is correct. Those are disaster loan programs, but nonprofits are not eligible for SBA traditional financing. Private clubs, lenders and investment firms, pyramid sales, multi-level marketing, real estate investment. Again, you cannot purchase to flip. You cannot purchase to rent. That is not an eligible use of funds for SBA. Any business promoting religious beliefs, so, synagogues, mosques, churches, we can't do that. Businesses engaged in illegal activities, this seems pretty straightforward, but because marijuana is legal in California, we do get this question, about businesses that are connected to CBD or marijuana. Because it is a federal loan program, it is not allowed as an eligible business expense today. That may change in the future, but today you can't do that. Consumer and marketing co-ops and anything of a prurient sexual nature. That is the end of my program, and hopefully we will have some time for questions.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, if you have any questions for Mark, please drop them in the chat. So I think we'll see. We might have a little bit of time too, and we can do questions for everyone also at the end. Did you talk a little bit about where City National Bank is, Mark?
So City National Bank, we are owned by Royal Bank of Canada, but we are a wholly owned subsidiary. We are located throughout California, and then we are predominantly an entertainment and high net worth and commercial real estate bank. So anywhere there's an entertainment center, you'll find City National presence. So Nashville, Miami, Atlanta, New York, DC, Las Vegas. We have a lot of branches in those entertainment sectors, and then throughout the state of California.
Great, thank you so much. And we have some questions. What if you have bad personal credit?
So if you have bad personal credit, the first thing I would start to do is addressing that personal credit. You either going through, some of these programs, credit repair, the bank is going to want to know why you have bad credit, right? So, our biggest worry is, are you going to be able to pay us back in principal and interest on time? If you've demonstrated that you have not done that in the past, that's going to be an issue for the bank. But if, let's say, you have a bankruptcy due to, medical expenses, or, during the 2008 crisis, you had to give back your home because, it dropped in value, you could no longer afford it, or you had lost your job. Those are things that you can explain. But, what we want to see is that you have a good track record over the last 3 years.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you very much for that. I also want to mention too, if you do have credit issues, we have a program at Accessity and it's free called Trust Plus. And it's another nonprofit organization that we can connect you with that will work with you on your credit. There's another great organization in San Diego called the San Diego Financial Literacy Center. And then credit.org is another really great one. So I wanted to mention that as well. So someone asked if you could please expand on consumer marketing co-op. What does that mean?
Yeah, anything that is like a joint venture, is difficult, for us to really underwrite and understand. Probably the best example I can give you is when, you're doing anything for the airport, right? Normally it's a joint venture between, a larger organization and a small business, and the larger organization doesn't want to guarantee the loan. And so those joint ventures usually wind up, it's because they have ownership, it's a large amount of ownership, and they don't want to guarantee your loan. We see this in the entertainment industry where, a high net worth individual, works with a production company and now they want to buy a building, but the high net worth individual either doesn't qualify for an SBA loan because they have too much money, or they don't want to guarantee the loan because they only own 50% of the joint venture. So really, a lot of it has to do with, being able to be qualified and getting the guarantees that we need. With SBA and the bank, we need to see that anybody that owns 20% or more of the business, right, will guarantee the loan. And so that is also very, very important to understand, that we can't leave people out, if they own 20% or more of the business.
Thank you. Another question, does your bank offer the SBA 7A Express program?
So we do the Express program, but at this point in time, we do it as a full package 7A loan. So we have the product, but we don't have a low doc type SBA Express. We building out our SBA department, and so we do see that will be coming in the future, but probably not until 2023. So what will happen is somebody comes to us and wants a $500,000 line of credit, SBA Express. We will underwrite that as a full SBA 7A package, but we will book it as an SBA Express line of credit.
Okay, thank you. The same person had the questions about property management companies qualifying for an SBA loan.
So that is part of the ineligible use of proceeds. So we cannot finance property management companies, nor can we finance homeowners associations or anything having to do with residential real estate.
Okay, that makes sense. What about startups who don't have any history?
So SBA has a program. Obviously, Accessity, you have a program. SBA also has something called the Community Advantage Program, and I think that our folks from the CDC, Small Business Finance, can touch on that. But that program is for smaller startup and projection-based requests. What you'll find is that most commercial banks don't like startups, right? And so the SBA created this product because they know that commercial banks, number one, don't like loans under 350, and number two, don't like loans that are high risk. Bank loans are your low-cost providers. Our interest rates are usually lower than anyone else out there, but we are also a low-risk lender, which means that we don't take a lot of risk. And so we're allowed to take some risk with the SBA programs, but that's why there are certain guidelines. We want to see that there's a demonstrated ability to pay us back because we are the low risk lender.
Yeah, Accessity does have a startup program, so you can definitely start with us, have a conversation. We can look at what situation you are in and then tell you where to go from there. So that's a great point. Or other CDFIs do as well, so you could check them out in your area. So someone else asked, and I think you touched on this a little bit about bankruptcy disqualifying. Does a bankruptcy disqualify? So could you touch on that just a little bit more?
So a bankruptcy does not, automatically disqualify you for an SBA loan, right? So we want to know what that bankruptcy was about and who didn't get paid, right? And primarily what the bank is interested in is, do the bank not get paid? The SBA is interested, did government debt not get repaid, right? So if you have a bankruptcy and they discharge government debt, you're probably not going to be able to get an SBA loan. But if you have a bankruptcy, because of, the recession or, because of, the COVID and pandemic crisis, and, you're getting back on your feet and you don't have any discharged, government debt, there are opportunities to get bank loans, right? You want to have a conversation with, the partners here that are on the call and your, business banker about, about your bankruptcy. Be upfront with it, right? We want to know what happened there, and you're going to have to tell us. And if it makes sense, then yes, I have done, many loans, for customers that had bankruptcies in the past. So it is not an automatic disqualifier.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good segue into, there's a couple questions that are kind of similar here related to COVID. People got in some bad situations relating to COVID, and maybe they have credit card debt, but they still might have good credit. So should they take out a loan to pay that credit card debt off, or should they just keep putting things on their credit card, or what do you advise them to do in that situation? Or is it a situation where they really need to sit down with a banker and talk to them and explain to them kind of what happened during COVID, how they were able to recover? What would you recommend doing?
So, this is really, where the credit counselors and your banker could be very helpful. Pulling your credit report before you walk into the bank, because, we're going to be looking for, 30, 60, 90-day late. We're going to look at, how much indebtedness you have, sometimes, and you're going to start to see this, interest rates are going up, which means your credit card rates are going to be going up. If you can, take out that credit card debt, with a personal loan, or if it's business credit card debt, and, with a business loan, and fix that payment and fix that interest rate so that you're paying principal and interest over a 3 to 5 year period, that may make sense for you. Now, what doesn't make sense is when you take out that loan, pay off the credit cards, and then just charge up the credit cards again, right? Because now you've got a loan plus the credit card debt. And again, what we're always looking for is, are you able to make all of your, personal payments and all your business payments to pay our new bank loan? Now, we have gone in and taken out, some very high interest predatory loans. Talked about this at the beginning about these predatory loans. There are loans out there that are 30 to 100%. They have daily payments, they have weekly payments, they have progress payments, they have penalties, they turn into new loans all the time, and this is how they get, outside these usury laws. You don't want to get tied up into those loans. They're easy to get and hard to get out of, right? And so, we have refinanced those kinds of debt. It has to make sense. We have to know that that money was used for a valid business purpose, but I have taken out some high interest debt and helped businesses grow. Because what happens with that predatory loan, it soaks up all your cash flow, and you can no longer expand, right? Because you don't have enough. All you're doing is paying back this loan, right? And it's like a payday loan for businesses, and you don't want to get involved in that.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think we're right on schedule. So thank you so much, Mark. That was really great. If we have more time, there's a couple more questions, or maybe people can connect with you if they want to chat more. We'll send out your contact information. But we're going to jump into our next presenter. We're so honored to have Brianna here from the SBDC to talk a little bit more about what the SBDC is, how you can connect with them in your community, and what current grant opportunities are available for small businesses. So Brianna, I'll toss it to you. you. And we're so excited to have you here.
Thank you, Suzanne. I appreciate it. Hello, everybody. I hope that you're having a great morning today. So my name is Brianna Weisinger. I am with the Small Business Development Center in South San Diego. And I'm just going to share a little bit about the services that we provide because they're complementary to all of the services that Mark and Joyce and Suzanne are able to provide with their own entities. So Small Business Development Center, I'm going to share my screen really quickly. And I am not going to give you a PowerPoint presentation because really power in the presentation is making sure that you know where you can find the resources that you need. And so the Small Business Development Center has been in the San Diego and Imperial counties for probably 20 years now. We have 9 locations across the region, and we have some spanning different regional areas as well as specific specialties. So we have North County, East County, South County, and Imperial Valley. Those are our generalized centers that serve all sorts of businesses in every industry across the San Diego and Imperial region. And then we have specialty centers, which is our Alliance SBDC, the International Rescue Committee SBDC, the Brink, Connect, Export, and the Export SBDC at World Trade Center. So the Brink and Connect are innovation centers, and they serve businesses that are based on technology and innovation and are likely to be able to scale up relatively quickly. The Alliance SBDC is in our Claremont area and targets the API community and is an alliance between the Asian Business Association and the Black Business Association. So it serves those particular communities in the Claremont region. Our Export SBDC specializes in export and trade across borders. So if you're trying to export to another country, then they would be your go-to. And the International Rescue Committee serves refugee clients. So refugees coming from other countries who are starting businesses here. I'm going to give you a quick view of the map just so that you can see where we're located or not. My website doesn't seem to be working. Let me share a different screen with you really quickly. All right. New screen share, everybody. I apologize for that, but we're located all across the region. So if you look in San Diego County and you live in San Diego County, we are pretty much everywhere and pretty easily accessible. It's very convenient to get to us. We also provide our advising services online and remotely. So the services that we provide a few different kinds of services. We have trainings. We do both one-on-one, we do both live trainings in person as well as on-demand trainings. So you're able to access our live workshops through this link here, where you can scroll through, and I will tell you just in the South San Diego Center, we had 100 trainings for the community. We have services in, I think, 12 or 13 different languages. So our trainings also span those 12 or 13 different languages. Then we also have our on-demand trainings, which are readily available. So if you happen to want to do something for your business at midnight, we're here and we're ready for you. It comes in a variety of different categories, from government contracting to your business start and business financing, as well as our COVID support, how to manage a business, exporting, accounting, marketing, sales, and risk management. Those trainings, if you click on those, there's a series of trainings under each one of those categories. They're available to you any time of the day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it makes it very, very convenient. And the other thing that we also provide is free one-on-one advising services. And you access that advising services by requesting assistance from the SBDC. We have this small form that you fill out. It collects your business information, some of your demographic information. Once you submit that, it actually goes to my team, and they will call you and they will schedule an intake appointment for you, and we'll be able to get you into our advising pathway within 24 hours, usually 24 business hours. We don't work on the weekends. So those are the 3 primary services that we provide. And in terms of where we support businesses, if you look under our service categories, We do pretty much everything from access to capital, including, alternative lending and angel funding, business plan assistance, structures and formations, customer distribution, buying and selling, cybersecurity, digital marketing. These are all of the specialties that our advisors house within this network. We have 120 advisors in our network right now. All of them are paid for their services. So we pay our advisors so that you can receive our advising services for free. You don't pay anything, but we pay them. And that's a way that we make sure that that our advisors are really, truly quality and they're dedicated to the clients. And again, I have languages spanning from Arabic to Hindi to Swahili to Tagalog, Vietnamese, and pretty much everything in between. We cover most of the languages that are here in the San Diego region. And oftentimes, if we aren't able to serve you in that particular language, we're able to secure a translator. So what I would like to say, and I know that we're running short on time, is that our primary goal and our primary reason for existing here in San Diego is to make sure that you have what you need in order to be able to run your business from launch all the way through to scale. And we are the people that support you in putting together your packages for your loan applications or getting your business up and running. And so we're happy to help and assist as you go through that process before you get to the lender. So when you get to Mark's desk, you're all ready to go and you have all your ducks in a row, all your finances ready and everything up to just submit that loan package. So thank you for taking your time with me. I appreciate it. And thank you, Suzanne, for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Could you touch on just briefly some of the current grant opportunities that are out there that people should know about, or how they find out about those? Do they sign up on your website? Do they meet with an advisor and the advisors are well versed? Could you touch on that a little bit, please?
Yep. So right now in the county, there's only one grant. It's going to be opening again on the 16th of May. And it is the County Micro Business Grant. So it's for businesses that have revenue under $50,000. There's a variety of other funding options that are not just grants, but that's truly the only grant that's available. There's another grant that you could potentially get on the waiting list for, but there's a very long waiting list. We only have 400 grants to issue in the county of San Diego and Imperial, and we have, I think, 800 people on the waiting list. And that is the California Dream Fund grant. It's a $5,000 to $10,000 grant, but you do have to take 8 weeks of training in order to be eligible for that grant.
And is that grant only available, because there's other people on this webinar that might live in the Inland Empire or in Orange County, LA. Is that only available for San Diego? And for those folks who are in that area, there are SBDC offices in that area, and how do you recommend that they connect with them?
So the grant is a statewide grant, and it's given from the state to different regions. So the San Diego and Imperial region, we have 400 grants to be able to issue. Other regions have grants to be able to issue. They are all tied with specific trainings that are quite intensive, but each region has their own training. So it's not, every region doesn't have the same training. So one region might be focusing, for example, on food businesses, where another region might be focusing on manufacturing businesses. The best way to get into your local SBDC is to actually go to our contact page. I'm going to share the link really quickly in our chat. And from there, there is a link for you to be able to locate your SBDC. So if it's not us, you can locate your SBDC by typing in your zip code, I believe.